Let's get it. What is going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in. We are live again, and it's Friday. Get my days confused. Yesterday, I thought tomorrow was today, Tuesday. Unmasked again. I mean, we could probably do that twice a week, too. That would be cool. But thank you guys for tuning in. I got a pretty cool episode, and I thought, you know what, this is more of my kind of thing, and I love SPL, and I just love guessing your guys' score and hearing about your builds. So I got a few of the screenshots already saved. We're going to go over some of the comments and the poll that I posted up on my YouTube here, and go over your builds and the percentage of people of how loud they are. How loud are you? Have you ever metered? What's your guesstimate on your score that maybe that I'm going to throw up tonight? So we're going to go over that kind of stuff and take your questions as we always do. And El Fuego, thank you so much. Anyone at 150 over in the chat? I have a feeling there's a few, but how many are there? Want to give a shout out to Jeff Wallace. I'm going to start doing this from now on. Jeff Wallace bumped up his Patreon from $5 to $10. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Let's see, we got a lot of people in here. Scott, what is going on? Yes, I just got off the Rolling Thunder podcast with Scott and Van 160 and, of course, Casey. We were just talking about all kinds of stuff. It was a really good episode. Flew by. Got John K. What is going on, man? Thank you for tuning in tonight. Got 25 to life. Of course he's tuned in. Where's Deviant, though? We're missing half our voltage, man. It's like when you drop a cell. David Bryant, thank you for tuning in, man. Baba, what is up? Good evening from Sin City. Good God, this is upcoming summer is going to be brutal. Yeah, man, I don't know, up here it's been raining. I feel like more people are probably going to be tuned in tonight, which is a good thing. You know, when it rains, what else is there to do? Let's watch some TV. Let's watch a live stream. Stay inside. So that's nice. Let's see. Joel, thank you for tuning in, man. Happy Friday, bro. Happy Friday to you, too. 25, thank you for pointing it out. I got a lot of Kicker merchandise, shirts, subwoofers. I didn't get any amps. Lots of stuff. I might do a little video of some of the things I got, maybe on my second channel, or just something for the Patreons or something like that, and maybe Facebook. We'll see. I'm not a big, unboxing. I'm terrible opening the boxes up. I just want to see it and play with it and do whatever I'm going to do with it. Honestly, I can't wait to film it. Honestly, I just want to open it up and just look at it. Will, thank you for tuning in. Living Out with Andy, Friday night show. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. This is going to be a pretty good show. I think, honestly, it's going to be underrated. Really is. Or overrated. Depends which way you look at it. Apparently, D4L Deviant got you that kicker sub. Everyone be thinking that this L78 is the X or L7X, and I'm sorry to inform you guys, it is not. I doubt that I would put it up on my YouTube even if I did have it. Do I? I don't know. But yeah, that's not the L7X yet. As soon as that does come out, you guys will know. I know Kicker was supposed to do an update on something last week, so stay tuned this Unmasked. I'm sure they'll talk a little bit more about the L7X. The box monster. Yes. Guess that's one way to put the cookie monster. Yeah, it's the box monster. Paul, thank you for tuning in, man. What's up, Kicker Club? We're not streaming on Kicker Club tonight, but what is up, Kicker Club? We do love Kicker Club. Let's see. Scott says, I like doing unboxing from first-person view. Right. There's some things it's like you wish you could just videotape and edit and post everything, but my channel's not a vlog channel, and honestly, it's just I just want to get into it, and whenever you do unboxings, there's certain ways you have to do them, and something goes wrong, you can't something with your camera, you can't rebox it together. It's just not the same. It really isn't. All right. Let's see. We got Stu up in here. Stu, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to wait for a little bit here for everyone to get in here so we can go over your guys' comments on the post that I posted up this week. What I could do right now is I could just throw up the beginning rate here is just literally the poll itself is how loud is your system. If you never meter, comment down below your setup and vehicle and I will give you an estimate. I had a few guys that actually commented on there saying like, I already know my score. I want to see if you can get it right. And hey, challenge accepted. I will definitely do it. I'll try to get as close as I can. I usually give you a higher number than I think it really is because I'm not the meter. I'm not going to hurt your feelings. The meter though, that's entirely different thing. Now, I like the poll here itself. Thank you, David Bryant. Andy, thank you for entertaining us. Appreciate you. I like podcasts better than normal TV. Right, and the interactiveness is just, it's the next level stuff, man. It really is. 130 to 140 dB seem to be the most, and honestly, that is your entry level dB. Even if you don't know what kind of, meter score you got, you're probably in this range. And honestly, that's cool to see that majority of the people that are following at least this post and seen this and voted, we had 81 votes, are beginner setups. Or maybe they're just sound quality setups where they're not geared for SPL. But I'm not really confused from that at all. That makes sense. And then obviously the next step up, 140 to 150. But we got a decent chunk there, and that's the nice range to be at is that 140 to 150 range. And obviously we have a couple 150s and 160s, and probably one or two people over that 160 dB. If Casey voted, it was probably him and then one other guy I know that actually follows me on YouTube. I know a couple 160 build guys, maybe like 6 or 7 of them, but that makes sense, honestly, just from those numbers alone. And that was cool to do, but I wanted to do the comment section too as well, just because I know a lot of people never metered their setup. And I know we were talking about it for like a second on the Rolling Thunder, but yeah, I can kind of guess the score. There's a lot to it. If there's not enough information, every vehicle's different. but I can get a rough ballpark. Honestly, if on a few factors alone, more factors, more variables that I know, closer, obviously, anybody can get an estimate to what the system is. And yes, Megan, you are not loud. She said, I ain't even loud. we're going to get you that 140, Megan. She's been running kicker comp 10s. Now she's up to 12s. She just needs more power a little bit because she wants to compete and get first place for the beginner class of Team SP Loud, which is under, with 212s, is under like 500 watts. So she's already doing 33, 35s. And for that class in a trunk of a car is a pretty good score nonetheless. Before I get to those, I'm going to get to some comments here. Maulin Performance, thank you for tuning in, man. William, I did a 170 dB back in the 90s, but that's not the same score now. I know I'm told on today's meter 170 dB in the 90s is 65 dBs on new meters. Right, I know. I don't know about in the early 90s, but I know with the older meter, yeah, it was a lot higher. People were doing 160, 170s, and here they're doing 45, 55s. So there are some differences there, and just how like they measured the weighting of the SPL. But hey, man, 170 even back then was loud, you know? Come on. Power wasn't as readily available as it is today. If you got a problem, your system ain't loud enough, what do? You buy a bigger amp. You buy lithium. High output alternators. Everything's at your demand, which is nice. Back in the 90s, there's less options, to put simply. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We got a lot of people in the chat. I just want to get a couple comments here. You guys, by the way, did awesome last week on smashing the like button and, like, just for the live. For that video, and just because you guys love me. I love you guys, too. That was just awesome. If you do that again, just keep it going, man. We want more people to join these live streams, because this is majorly what I do. Majorly what I do is live streams, and I got the energy for it, and I enjoy doing it. So we get more people coming. It's just going to make it better for you guys and more for just for me to talk about, honestly. Not like I'll ever run out of topics for car audio, though, man. It's in my blood. Blake, what is going on? Thank you for tuning in, man. And speaking of Blake, I know I want to get some people on here. Just a few, maybe, like on a different day. I would like to do that. Just between all the car audio competitions and shows that I have to attend, it's a little tight right now, but I definitely want to do that in the near future, 100%. I'm guessing a 50. What's up, Bubba? Let's see. Blake says, I haven't had a chance to meter yet, but the guys I've talked to say, sounds like a low 40s. I mean, if you're doing a 40 dB, 142, 138, you're flexing your trunk. Your rearview mirror doesn't stay still. You're doing something. Same thing with Baba here, not meter, but I can say I'm easily 135 to 140 dB. Subs are 2 feet behind me, good grief. Well, smaller cabins, in some situations, in most situations, actually a little bit harder to get loud, just because the wave doesn't have enough length to extend. Usually, like, pickup trucks are like that, and the easiest way to combat that is just add more power. And it all depends with, like, how they... I know with, like, car and truck, they're different with orientations. You would think the sub fire into the back would be louder, but then sometimes, or firing it forward would be louder, and it's like backwards sometimes, and it's very strange just how trucks work in small cabins. There's a lot of differences. Craig Scott, 2 DC level 4 15s on a DC 3.5K C-pillar 6th order wall 07 Tahoe. Okay, so you got 2 15s. I don't know what the level 4s are. Maybe like 1500, 2000 RMS on a 3.5K in a C-pillar 6. I don't know if I was talking about this build or that was the other guy at 2 18s and he was doing a 53. And that was pretty impressive on a Terramp 8K. So you're probably doing 48s, 50s. You should be around there. A 6-order wall, it's going to be pretty efficient. And honestly, I like 6 orders for them lows, man. If you build them, if you got enough space. On a Tahoe, you're going to have some space. I'm going to say 47 to 51. I know it's a wide range, but I don't know how much you're clamping, where you're wired at. You could be wired to the dirt and be getting all that 3.5K, or you could be wired at 1 and getting, you know, not that much. I'm sure you're wired down low, and obviously you know what you're doing. So yeah, I'm gonna say 150, 150 even. You should be able to do that all day. Got a super chat. I got to get to the super chats, man. That's what they're there for. Todd Wolf, love you, buddy. Thank you for tuning in. Todd came out with me to the Rockin' with Russ Car Audio Show, or the video that I just posted on Tuesday night after this show. He came out with me and just helped me set up and just hung out, man. He did good. He got first place, too. He did the beginner class. Sorry, Megan. Yeah, he did the beginner class. He did a, 136? And he was only clamping like 400, 500 watts or something like that. 212s, the L7s, L7Rs. Good evening and happy Mother's Day weekend. Thank you, Todd. And I know it's Mother's Day weekend. I don't know if we're doing anything for my mom this Mother's Day because it was just her birthday. And just, you know, how there's too many holidays. There's just too many holidays. But thank you for your super chat. And thank you so much for tuning in, man. All right. Wow. We got 43 people in the night, at least on my end, between Facebook and YouTube. I knew it. I knew there was going to be more people here. Just maybe I'm interesting. I don't know. Or it's just the weather. I'm gonna say it's the weather. Yes, Megan. More power. 100%. Carnage. I seen your comment on there. You said I did 193 decibels once in 2011. Hey, I'll believe it when I see it. Let me guess. So that screenshot got deleted by mistake. It's okay, man. I believe you. Jason Stokes, thank you for tuning in, Andy. I got a rabbit hole to run down. Box tune to, you know, I love those rabbit holes. Box tune to 32. Vehicle peaks to 37. Would Denny make the peak closer to the box tuning? Very good question. Maybe because you are dampening and it's not going to make it more, your vehicles are going to resonate less because there's dampening, less harder surfaces. So maybe the lower frequencies that don't resonate with the vehicle structure don't amplify as much. So then your low end is more, not amplified, but maybe more prominent compared to that, making it more well balanced. So would it be louder? Probably not. But are your peaks going to be as great? Probably not. Maybe it'll even out your spectrum of how your enclosure plays in your car. I don't know. That's just a guess. Anytime you add any kind of sound dampening, it's in the name, man. It dampens the sound, and it can make it sound a lot more natural and less boomy in some ways. I know some people they swear by it. You know, I need dampening. What you need is structure. And strong surfaces for the sound to bounce off of. Sound dampening is only going to do so much. No matter how thick you put it in there, yeah, you could make it really dampen, but we're not trying to put yourself in an anionic chamber, whatever it's called. The chamber where it's like literally you can go crazy from sitting in too long because it's like negative who knows how many dBs, or whatever scale that is. But yeah, I think it would probably make it sound a lot better on the lower notes. Now, is it going to make it louder? I'm going to say no. Jaquan says, I'm doing a 142.7 with stock alternator and second battery with Big 3. Nice. Yeah, you got the two Q15s, correct? That's awesome, man. Thank you for tuning in. Let me get to, because we're already 20 minutes in here almost. Let me get to these questions real fast here. I'm just going to go through a couple, then I'm going to come back to you guys. The Average Guy 1983. Thank you for your comment, man. I went with the lowest meter because I have never thought about metering my system in my current build, as it is intended more for sound quality and only seems to bump well when it's at 75% to 100% non-clip volume. Anything lower than 75% of the volume in my current setup, and it basically sounds stock. So I'm guessing 130 dB. Right, and that's where I know I put a system in there in Kayla's car with a single 10 on like a 500 RMS amp, and it was in a nice sealed enclosure, close to that 0.707. It was like 0.74 something. Very SQ oriented, if you want to call it that. And Kayla's like, it doesn't even sound like I got bass in here, because that's the thing. For sound quality, you don't want your bass to override everything. That's just, you want that not flat, but you want that good sound where the bass is the bass and the treb is the treb and the mids are the mids. But yeah, man, probably around that 130 dB range. Any kind of SQ system. 135 dB is really loud for a sound quality setup, and 140 dB and up is just really unheard of, and you're going to see those at state finals. But thank you for your comment again, man, and thank you so much. Live it up every day. 150 to 155 is the standard for any sound system I'm taking serious that I put together, other than if it's just a normal 212, 215 build. I expect at least 145 dB from the 12s and 150s from the 15s. Right, I'm sure, you know, it's in this day and age, you know, there's just so many different choices. There's so much power available. If you're, you know, running 412s and you're doing a 48, that's not terrible, but it's not the best. But it depends what your build is. You know, is it more of a demo and it's very, it'll play everything? Or is it very windy? There's trade-offs with everything. But I get what you're saying, where, you know, you want it to be loud for what it is. And not so much efficiency, but just in general. Thank you for your comment, man. Aaron Giles, 2014 Hyundai Veloster. Here we go. We're going to go with the paint color too. With an 18-inch Savard HIQ 18 dual 2 being pushed by a Crossfire C5 1600D. So that's I'm going to guess that's a 1600 watt amp in a 4.5 cubic foot enclosure. So an 18 and 4.5 cube enclosure wired at 1 ohm. I'm going to take a guess. Tuned to 33. This is a monster in my car, louder and sounds better than my Scar Evo 18 I had, never metered. Honestly, in a Hyundai Veloster, that's a small hatchback. It's going to get really loud with an 18 back there. You're pretty tight, especially with that back seat. I've seen those. I seen a guy actually had a 4th order 12 single box in there, and it sounded pretty good. He wound up going with a wall. Let's just put it that way. But honestly, an 18 back there, 4.5 cubes, you got decent amount of power going to it. I don't know what the C5 1600D actually does, but I'm sure you're probably clamping over 1,000 watts. If you're clamping around 1,000 watts, you're probably doing a 42, 43. If you're clamping anything more, just double your power, add 2.5 dBs, and that's your score. And Aaron Giles, thank you for tuning in and your comment, man. I appreciate that. All right, let me see how far behind I am on the comments. If I missed any super chats, you're going to have to do it again. No, I'm just kidding. I'll find it. Thank you guys so much for hanging in here. Bobby B is still at Disneyland. Thanks for tuning in, man. RGA, what is going on, buddy? Thank you so much as well for tuning in. I count as 0.035% as a whole person at the moment. Hope you're feeling better. I don't know if you're sick or you're just tired. Let's see. Bobby. We all love Bobby. Let's see. DIY Audio Guy. Thank you for tuning in, man. I am not loud, and I am okay with that. I am just having fun doing what I do. And I know you're more of a home audio sound quality guy, and what you're doing, you're putting your toe into the deep end, and you're doing a good job, man. Keep doing it. And Jaquan with the two Q15s doing a 142.7, I think it was, in the 06 Chevy Impala, man. Those got some big trunks. My buddy had an 06 Monte Carlo. Kind of the same. But yeah, man, I bet you that thing slams and that trunk flexes a lot. I know they're good for it. What do they call them? Slabs? Slow, low, and banging or something like that? They got like the big pickles. I can see it, man. I can see it. Dennis, what is going on, man? Hey, if you didn't see my last live, I answered your question about the kicker wire. Go back, check it out. It's about like 30, 40 minutes in. Check it out. Dennis, I hit a 139.4, I think, at the last comp. Yeah, you were right around there. I think you were in intermediate class. Two L715s only clamped 300 watts. Okay, then I was beginner class. Got the 320 amp high output alternator in last week. Have to wire up an isolator and get the JY... Sorry, I got gas. JY lithium in. Plan on running both of those 2400.1s. Man, that's more power than they're ever going to need, but if you play it within reason, you'll never have a problem. And with that JY lithium, man, I was demoing Cookie Monster with no engine, okay, just the JY HP, and I was seeing 12.4, 12.7, like full tilt boogie. Like, I'm sure there's more power I could get if my voltage was higher, but that KXA 2400 is semi power regulated. It's going to do a lot of power. It's not going to drop much whenever the voltage goes down. So I'm pretty much getting what I got, and it works. But yeah, man, you'll be good even with that 1JY on those 22400s with your engine running. It'll be all that you need. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. Okay, you got the QL7s, right? Gotcha. Or you got the older ones. I thought, because you were asking about the Comp Qs and the L7 Qs. I figured you had one or the other. Let's see. Baba, DIY, Drew Landers. Thank you for tuning in, Drew. I know you got a kicker system. What's your opinion on ferrules? Never used one. Heard great things about them. Make things a lot cleaner, and it's good for if you're like unplugging your inputs and putting them back in. Kind of just crimps down onto it. And you don't have any frayed wires. I just never done it. So, and I've kind of got around to not having to. I know there's some pros and cons too with like connective issues of like the wire itself because of the strands that you're using that one solid thing like a lug, and it's better. But I mean, if you're getting down the nitty gritty, I've done it for years without any problems. I'm okay, but I think they're great. If you want to add them in there and make your build look very clean and simple in a way, definitely use them, man. Let's see, RGA, El Fuego. What's up, El Fuego? Original Wiss. This guy's new here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Stu Custom. Okay, he's just talking to Stu. Awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Jeff, living loud with Andy, streaming from my tow truck. Illegal activities in pursuit of wasted information. I know this guy's driving, watching me, and watching the Unmasked show with a laptop on his dashboard. But hey, man, got to do what you got to do, and you got to be able to see me too. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for upgrading on Patreon. Appreciate that. I seen that. I was like, ooh, love you guys, man. You guys are nuts. Appreciate it. Deviant has arrived. Okay, so the cell it didn't drop. It just, the battery needed charge. We're back up to 14.4 volts. It's good. Thank you for tuning in, man. Yes. Cody, what is going on, man? 160 is the new 150, and you're absolutely right just because of everything that's available. Whenever I built my build, 3 years ago, I wanted to get a 150, but if I didn't, it's okay, because I'm one sub running 2,500 watts, and I wanted lows, and I wound up getting there, 50.3. But you're absolutely right, man. If you got the money, and to get a 160, I feel like that is the threshold. A little bit after that, obviously, frequency depending, vehicle depending, things start breaking and you start reaching mechanical limits of just literally everything. Your windows, your doors, your latches, your vehicle structure, your firewall. And the next thing you know, you're just welding things. So absolutely though, man. Thank you for tuning in. Got over 43 people in here tonight. I don't know how many are on YouTube, but I just appreciate you guys. Love you so much. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to get through a couple more of these comments and then we're going to keep going on the other comments. Deviant, listen, you're lucky. I love you too. All right, let's see here. Joel, I got DDX 10 Big 3 custom enclosures and a Pioneer 9701 running 800 RMS at 2 ohms. How loud? I got DDX, so that's SCAR. So you got the triple SCAR. On an 800 RMS at 2 ohms. I'm sure you're wired at 2 ohms, or at least something weird, 2.67 or 1.67, depending if they're dual 2s or dual 4s. So, probably a 2.67, because you're probably not going to run a 1.67, because it's not the best, but you can do it. Man, you're probably clamping like 400 watts, and 310s, I mean, in a sealed enclosure, or that's 3 custom enclosure. Big three custom enclosure. I think that's either the 3 sealed, where they're like one here, one in the middle, and the outside ones are like a 45-degree angle, either sealed, or they got the ports for each one. If it's ported, you're probably doing like a 38, 39 maybe. If it's sealed, probably a 36, 35. But either way, 310s, man, a couple hundred watts, it's going to bang. Depending on the vehicle, it could increase your score or decrease it, but you're probably in a trunk or an SUV. Thank you for tuning in, man, and thank you for your question there. Oh, Honda Pilot. Yeah, it's a big vehicle, man. Probably 37, 36. Just because you're in a bigger cabin, SUV. I got a 2011. A little bit bigger than that, but still, nonetheless. But still, pretty loud, man. That's awesome. All right, I know I'm really far behind. Wow, I am really, really far behind on the comments, but it's okay. Because that's the point of doing this. Jamie Carball, thank you for tuning in. I'm using 2 SCAR SDR12s in the prefab doing 142. That's not bad in the SDR, man. They're pretty efficient, at least from what I can see. I got that 18 sitting over there. And doing a 142 on 2 of those, you're probably clamping at least 1,000, 1,200 watts. But hey, it bangs. Here, let me get to the next one here. And I got to zoom in, otherwise I can't read it. Deviant. Skip. No, I'm just kidding. Bought a meter from wish.com and I hit a 230 dB, 230.4 dB world record. Deviant wins. I believe him. I think that's new SPL lab meter coming out. It detects BS. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for your comment, Deviant. Ashy Larry. Still haven't done my install that I've been planning for almost a year. I got everything and then some I just haven't had the time to do. Stuck with my 96 dB factory JBL stereo and it sounds like sadness. I mean, other than the all-pass filters that cut back the bass, they sound really good, man. I know we be coming back from stores. My dad's got the JBL in his RAV4. And, I mean, it works. It really works. I want to eventually, I mean, it's fine, but I want to DSP it to get rid of the all-pass filter and maybe replace the door speakers and stuff. But that's a whole nother level. They're fine. It's just that all-pass filter. It says, no, 3 year, 36 months, it's got to last it. We're cutting you back. Thank you for your comment, man. Bass Caddy. I never meter my system. I have a 2007 Cadillac DTS. That's the big 4-door sedan. With stock battery, 300 amp. Okay, so a stock battery, but a 300 amp alternator. Big 4 upgrade, 1 run of Sky High 1-aught from alt to battery. Terramp MD5K running a Sundown X15 V3. In a custom box made by Alan Buttrum, that's the name. You can hear me coming from pretty far away, but still want to be louder. I would definitely suggest running an additional battery in the rear, just because, yeah, you got a 300 amp alternator, but that's 300 amps at, you know, who knows how many RPMs. And that's a 5K amp. You're pulling 500-600 amps of current, if not more, at the very most. But you should be okay, obviously. But that's one thing I would suggest you doing, is adding some more electrical as in battery capacitance to help dampen and put a little bit of less work on your alternator. But honestly, how loud is that? Those are, I know the seats fold down in that, and you're running, what, the Sundown X15 V3. So that's, what, 2,000 RMS, give or take, 3.5-inch coil, and you're running 5K at it. You're probably clamping the RMS rating. So you're getting 2, 3K. Thing gets down. I don't know how big the box is and stuff, but I'm just going to give a guess, and I'm going to say that you're at that 146 range. 145, 146. You could be louder with some variables, but honestly, it's 115, and it's going to need all that power, but it's going to put out that displacement, and it's 115 again. 146, 147. I feel like that's tops. If you're doing anything louder, you're tuned higher, and it's not the same vehicle that I'm thinking of. Maybe it's a SUV or something like that. But trunks are just naturally, inherently harder to get loud. But awesome. We're going to go skip to the next, and then I'm going to go check out the comments real fast here before we get to everything else. Wow, we got a lot of comments. Again, if I missed a super chat, let me know. All right. Wow, I'm really far behind, but it's okay. You know, it's that's the point of this episode. Original Whis. Thanks, Andy. Been checking you out for the last month or so, along with the Kicker Live show. Dude, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. See, we got another person. That is awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. I appreciate you. And yeah, the Unmasked show is next level stuff, man. It's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to take us down for just a second. There we go. Hi. Okay. We got V13. What is up, V13? We miss you. Andy set up that PayPal. Yeah, I got to get you that. It's just first name, last name, 24@gmail.com. That's it. Walter Keeley, I got to meet the PA basshead. Came out to the Rockin' with Rush show. Again here, DCXLs are much more efficient than the ZV6. I don't know the difference of DC and Sundown and which one's more efficient. I have not physically had my hands on them, but ZV6s are the big dogs. XLs, I think those are the smaller. That's not the level 5 or 6 or however that works. I haven't really dug too deep into DC, but I know it's good stuff. But I think the XLs are not the big dogs like the ZV6s are in that category, so they probably would be more efficient. Thank you for tuning in, man. Just depends on coil size and how many spiders you got on it, how much your coil weighs, how much your cone weighs, and how much your surround weighs, and how much motor force you got. I mean, that has a little bit to do with efficiency, but not that much. It's just the weight, the pure weight of what you're moving. How much is it going to take to move it? Let's see. Single sub ported. That's Joel. Philip Slusher, this is in a Chevy Cruise, 80 amp Yinglong. Hi Fi Vega, yo, what's up Vega? I'm waiting on that big 3 kit, man. I want to be able to use my engine. I was tempted to put my old wire back in, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to have to take it back out and then put the Hi-Fi big 3 kit in there, and then it's going to be great. Thank you for tuning in, man. Dave, thanks for tuning in. Okay. Hi, Fi Vega. Everyone's saying hi to Vega. Let's see. Okay. Guys are going on. I'm trying to find any other questions before I keep going to these other ones. All right, we're good. Cool. All right, I'm going to pull that back up. We're going to get back to this. Cool. Hard Disky 02 says he has a 2018 Rogue with 4 Funky Pulp 15s on a JBL crown amp. You know, I was going to tell myself I'm not going to read these before I throw them up, but I'm going to make sure there's nothing crazy on here. But I didn't even, that skimmed right past me, man. I totally missed that. But hey, you might actually have the Funky Pumps. I don't know. But 415s on efficient drivers on a JBL crown amp, that's 6K. Woo, man, I could, 2018 Rogue, wall, flat wall. You're doing 55s, bro. I mean, those coils are gonna be screaming, but you're gonna be loud. Check these out. Kicker.com. They're like a couple bucks. I grabbed a few of them. Kicker unmasked cups. Isn't that cool? Boom. So I got so much Kicker stuff. It's stupid. Carnage the God. This is the guy that said he could do 192 dBs, and I told him I'll believe it when I see it. Thank you for your comment, man. Paul Harris. I am running one 12-inch CVX with a CVX on a KXA 1800.1. And then you got your 4 CS 6x9 coaxials and your 800.5 to power those. So you got one 12-inch CVX and a 15 CVX on an 800.1. Probably wired at 1 ohm on it. Both dual 2s, dual 4s. A 12 and a 15, that kind of makes it a little bit more challenging to describe how loud it is. My guess is, well, let me pull this back up so I can actually see it. I don't know the vehicle, but honestly, you should be around the 140 dB range all day. If you're not, you're right below it or you're right above it. Honestly, and you're probably clamping 400 or 500 watts, splitting 250 going each, depending. Yeah, man, that's my guess. Thank you for your comment, buddy. The Professional 18, not sure yet. I have 6 SA10s in a 4th order Baseaholic design, and I have 2 Wolfram 8Ks to power for now. Almost at the point of starting my install. I can't read the rest of this because of my stupid banner. Let me pull that banner down really fast. Shoot. Where's that at? Banner. No. Yeah, it's this guy. Okay, now I can actually read it. Great. Okay. And this slide. Okay, there we go. Starting out with my install, I plan to start out at 1.67 at first, maybe wire down to 0.67. I don't know if the SAs can handle it, but the plan upgrade to 6G2 Genius 10 soon. So you have 6 10s in a 4th order from Drew Jones and 2 Wolfram 8Ks. And guessing that's a fourth order B pillar. Yeah, you're going to need a lot of vehicle for that, most likely. And you're going to run them at 1.67 on each 8K. And then that would be, what, 3 subs getting each of that. I mean, honestly, that's a lot of power on those SAs already. You could add more just for burps. But honestly, 610s, clamping 8K altogether in a B pillar fourth order, man, you should be doing 55, 57s. Depending how efficient it is. But that's kind of where I see at. I don't know, anywhere from like 40 hertz to 43, you'd probably be peaking at where that would be a good enclosure where Drew would build it and stuff like that, man. Awesome. Let me pull that down for a second. Let me get to these comments here. Okay, I got lots of comments. Bigger builds like that are a little bit harder to go on, but yet again, you know, more information, closer I can get to guessing the score, but hey, not always going to be right. SJC, thank you for tuning in. Baba, Hi-Fi, Stu, V13, 14.4 Crew, Fuego, DK, and Andy. Thank you so much, man. Hi-Fi Vega said, I did a 43.6 on the K9. That's the Rockville sub. 15 on the Rockford Fosgate 225.2. Now, that's not bad at all. I don't know how much that amp does, but it probably was doing at least 800 watts clamped, give or take. Easy, especially for that 15, and I know that you have that that SUV. So 143 is pretty. That's pretty respectable, man. You ain't as quiet as I thought you were. No, I'm just kidding, man. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in, man. Here's John. Yo, 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 it's your boy, Hi-Fi Vega, with the dude who does the stream, dude who laughs at memes, and the dude who wouldn't be picked last for a team. Living loud with Annie. Man, you're making me choke up over here. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for tuning in, bud. That was a good one. Oh, man. Let's see. More like a Big 5 kit. Yeah, it is a Big 5 kit you made me. I know. But you can never have too many grounds, right? Grounds on grounds on grounds. Hey. All right. Joel says the CVX is one of my favorite woofers of all time. I almost picked one up, but instead I picked up this little 8-inch. Look how small this is. 8-inch L7S, man. Only 450 RMS. I think it's a 2-inch coil, maybe a little bit smaller. I'm not too sure. But still, this thing is just beefy looking, and it's just like, look at it beside the 18. It doesn't look, I mean, it looks small. Okay. But it doesn't look that small. I know, I felt bad for you guys, thought it was the L7X, and it's not. It's not. Hopefully soon, man. I can't wait. But speaking of that, because I was going to put 2 L7X 10s in Kayla's car eventually, but when I got all this stuff, I was like, man, I want something that'll sound really good for her car, for like country, rock, you know, Christian music, a little bit of hip hop, you know, she plays a little bit of everything. And that 15 in the prefab from who knows where just did not sound the best. I never even got to meter that. I will eventually. It probably does like a 44, but at like 47 hertz and then steep drop-offs. You know, it's not what I'm looking for. That Comp C enclosure that I picked up here, I'll pull it up here on Facebook, since I did all these fancy things just to make my computer run better. I might as well pull up a picture from using the internet to make it work, because I did just post it on my Facebook today. Let's see if this will load up here a little bit faster. Okay, there we go. That's me live. Yeah, that's a bad idea. I shouldn't click on that. And then we got this here. Well, that's with can I share screen and do that? Oh, yes, I can. Boom. All right, got that. And then oh, there we go. I'm gonna make me tiny so you can actually see it. Boom. So I put the Comp C enclosure in Kayla's car, and I think this thing just sounds phenomenal for what it is. It's the entry level dual 10 enclosure. They don't make the dual 10 enclosure in the Comp regular kicker Comp. I looked everywhere. They have it in the Comp C, the Comp R, Comp VR, whichever, and the Comp Q. for the 10 dual loaded enclosure. With a small hatchback like this, I needed something that was 10s. 12s, I put the two L7 12 box in here, and I actually had to put it in upside down just for it to fit. And it just, I wanted something that was practical. And I didn't want to go with a single 12 or a single 10. And just to keep the price, you know, whatever. And she doesn't need something crazy because she doesn't even have mids and highs powering her doors whatsoever. Just stock. Until we get a head unit. That's the main holdback, is the head unit. She wants the fancy like wireless CarPlay. And I can afford it now, but good luck getting a head unit, let alone, you know, and wait a little bit for the prices to come down. It's not a big problem. And I got a nice, from Todd, the DX 250.4, the entry line. They don't make it anymore, but the entry line 4-channel for kicker, match it with the CX 1800.1 just for that build, and to power the mids and highs, and it would be crystal clear. She already has kicker entry level DS's in the doors, the older ones, and it sounds okay, but you can't add that much bass to it and hear the music, and that's the main drawback of that. I know, guy commented, Trevor Moon, he was like, man, that's barely even comparable to like the L7X's, but it's like, dude, she's not even there yet, and I want this to sound good for her. This is her car. Yeah, I use it once in a while, you know, if I'm running out somewhere, but there's sometimes she wants to drive her car, and she wants to jam. You know, she was telling me before, she's like, man, I'm just scared to play it, because that 15 was like really loud, and kind of like too much power for it, that amp. Now, same amp is on it, but I have it dialed down a little bit just so, because it's only 600 RMS. It doesn't need all the power. It really doesn't. They're very efficient drivers for what they are. 100%, man. All right, let's see. I need to get to everybody's thing tonight before the show ends. I feel like I'm doing like 5 million things tonight, but it's okay. We got Matt Ritchie up in here. Thank you for tuning in, man. What is considered the big 5 from Dave? I mean, honestly, the big 3 is your charge wire to your, you know, battery, then your battery to your back, and then your ground of your chassis from the battery up front. So that's your big 3 of just replacing those wires that wouldn't be normally undersized gauged. Now, adding anything more, it could be your disposal, where you're grounding your alternator to your chassis, which you already have an engine ground that goes from your engine to your chassis, but it's a small wire. So by upgrading that, you're just making things even stronger, and not stronger, but lower resistance in a way. I'm not a professional on grounds, that's why I ask other people, but you know, it wouldn't hurt. It's not going to hurt you if anything. Power will find a way. So it's just how many you keep adding on there. You know, the ground, like I said, the alternator would be number 4 from alternator ground to the chassis, and then alternator to front battery is number 5. And then if you would just add more, maybe in the rear, I don't know. I feel like maybe 5 is the biggest you can get, but at least up front, in the front of the car. Because what else could you do? Ground it to the ground, you know, have a little wheel on the bottom, have it spinning, you know, keep it grounded, man. Metal wheel. I don't know. Yes, 25. I do watch Audi 5000 hertz vids once in a while. Absolutely, man. Jason, Andy, your hand looks like Kyle Ruckus by the 8. Yeah, I know. I got little hands like Kenny Pickett, but you put it up against this 8-inch woofer, man. I don't know if my hands are bigger than Kenny Pickett, man. And they were saying like 9 3/4, man. I don't know. It's close. Dean Brockway, thank you for tuning in, man. I got my DC 90x4 installed in my 96 amp hour headway bank, ready to install. All I need is Andy's help with the boxes. I know, man. I know. I was going to respond to you yesterday because I saw you the day before. I've just been so busy with just everything. I know we've been needing to FaceTime, and we're on opposite schedules. Honestly, what am I doing tomorrow? And then Mother's Day is Sunday. Message me. You got my number. Message me. We'll do something tomorrow. I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I do not believe. Just need to talk to you and just see the build itself and give me some measurements, and I know what you're trying to go for. We'll get it done. SJC said, "Damn, that PCB bumping now, Andy." Yeah, man, it's not clipping anymore. I'm hoping not. I really am. From what you're telling me now, it's working good. I appreciate your help with that, man. The SJC got me all lined up with computer stuff. If you need anything with computer help, I'm sure there's a few guys in here, John and others, that know how to work that stuff. But SJC is the guy to go to, man. Come on, he works for Dell. I mean, and I got a Dell. Should have bought a Dell. I miss that commercial. You know what's funny, 25? I actually said that because I was giving her a demo of it today. Oakley was sitting in the front, and Bryson was watching YouTube or something inside the house. And I was like, because I brought it up, you know, I'm like, you just need more mids and highs, yada yada, same thing I just said. And I was like, I got that Walmart head, you know, we can put it here. She gave me the dirtiest look, man. I am not kidding you. She wants that quality, man. She wants that quality. Dennis, what is the highest score you recall on a trunk system? What equipment? How much power did it make it, if you recall? I know Trunk King's like doing 62, 63s. Anything more than that, I feel like you're doing just an SPL vehicle, like burp application. Trunks, they're limited in space, and you can only add so much power. Your speakers can only be so big. But I feel like anything over 155 dB is really, really loud for a trunk. If you're doing 147s and up around 2K, 3K, that's a nice trunk build, dude. And anything more is just you add in a dump truck of power, and you got the woofers to keep up with it, and a very strong enclosure. And usually at that point, you're not even firing to the trunk, which helps in most cases. But usually it's like a sealed off trunk where they're just firing into the car, acting like a miniature wall in effect. And it's just tons of bracing and no leakage. So you get most of the SPL in the vehicle rather than out. Because that's the thing too, once you get so loud, your trunk, your car starts to release the pressure. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. And then you keep adding more and more and more. Your trunk's only going to go so far, and then you're just going to be letting more and more pressure out of your car. You want your pressure in your car firing towards the meter. In most cases. Now there's rear wave, front wave, there's all kinds of stuff. Trust me, I love my air coming out my trunk and Cookie Monster. That's how I can play 16 hertz. It didn't come from just building the enclosure. It's just the vehicle, working with it, flapping, releasing that canceled wave that would cancel if it came forward just because the car is so small. Lots of variables. But yeah, man, 150 plus in a trunk, that's loud. All right, let's see. We've got lots of comments. Okay, I'm sort of caught up. Not really, but I'm never going to be on this episode, but it's okay. Let me go back to here. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Just different ratio. Okay, got those. Next. I think this is the last. Is this the last one? No, there's two more. All right, all shot. 2015 Harley Davidson Street Glide. So it's a motorcycle, 2JL, audio MX 500.4, 4 PRV, Bullet 6x9s, 2 PRV, 6.5 mid-bass, 4 PRV, TW 450 Ti's, 1 kicker Q-Class IQ 500.1, and 2 kicker Q-Class L7 8s. I like this. You know why? Because I seen MBE made a post about motorcycles can't get loud. I mean, he's right. Not loud in SPL as in low frequencies. Totally understand him on that. But with just outright music loud, yeah, man, that thing is probably, if you could play a tone and not go deaf above like 400 hertz, I'm sure that you're, or whatever, you're probably a 135 dB, you know what I mean? At that frequency, because it's just so loud, maybe 130. You got to think of it as different weighting than SPL. You're not measuring below 100 hertz. You're measuring above. If you're measuring below 100 hertz, like a regular SPL meter, you're going to need something, like he said, to bounce off of. Now, in a good situation, if you were parked in like a corner of an alleyway, and you had your bike sitting there, you could probably get lower frequencies. Like you could feel it and hear it, and then that would probably be a good place to place the meter, in the opposite corner, like a small alleyway, like 10 feet by 10 feet, like if you're a living room or something, and that's where you would meter some actual pressure because of just the sound wave bouncing off of something like MBE brought up. But yeah, man, probably a 120 dB, easy 125. That's about it at that lower frequency stuff. But thank you for your comment and thank you for tuning in, man. V for Vengeance. 2 Kicker L710s, from 2008. Nice. I like those ones. That was the first switch up to this style, at least with the L7s. In a prefab box powered by a Hyphonic Zeus 1000.2, so that's a 2-channel Zeus. I did 142.7 at 47 hertz in my Honda Element. That's not bad at all, man. You were probably clamping like 600 watts, give or take, maybe 700. And those, oh, sorry, 210s in the kicker prefab, probably. Oh, sorry. And I know a Honda Element isn't a very big vehicle, but it's a very square vehicle, and it's very thin too. I've driven them at US Auto Mart when I used to sell cars and do a lot of tenant stuff and all that fun online sales. Yes, that's a respectable score, man. And even at 47 hertz, that's where they get it, man. That's where they get it, at least with the kicker enclosures that I've metered in my cars, my hatchbacks. 47 hertz is where it gets it. But it's not like it can't play below 40 hertz, man. It's got a nice natural roll-off, but they do peak 45 and up for SPL, 100%. Thank you for your comment, man. Appreciate you. Audio system specialist, Tanga, never measured. Also, not a car system. I know, right. You got the home audio. It's okay, man, but thank you for your comment. Jaquan Havares, 130 to 140 to me. I thought you just told me you did a 142.7. Come on, man. Thank you for your comment, buddy. SQL Vision Customs, 08 Jeep Commander with a 320 JS alternator, 14.8 set dual OFC, 0 gauge, run positive negative, so front to back, awesome. That's what I just did to mine. Just haven't hooked it up to the engine yet. All connection point, 2 AGM, 180 amp hours total, so 290 amp hour AGMs, wired in parallel, obviously. Orion 2500.1 DZ, same model, Williston dynode. Okay, so the DZ, that's not the XTR, but I think the DZ, I think that actually did its rated power. 2 Sundown SAV2s, 12s, 5 cubic foot box, so it's pretty big for those SAs. 32 hertz tune, everything double sound, deadened roof, etc. Everything Jeep Commander. That's the big Jeep. That's bigger than the Liberty. But you got the 2 SA12s on it. It's enough power that they really going to need. You're probably seeing anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 RMS clamped. And if you never metered, I'm guessing that's why you're putting your comment here. Honestly, you got more electrical than you really need for that, but not really too much. It's like perfect. So SPL, 32 hertz, 5 cubic foot box. You're gonna have a lot of rides. That's a big box for those. I just know it. And 32 hertz, you probably got like an 8-inch arrow on there to get that tuning. Roughly like 50 to 60 square inches per cube, depending how long the port is. So my guess, 144.2. 144.2, and you're going to peak around 40 hertz, 38. Just because it's a longer vehicle, your peak's not going to be quite as high. The resonance going to change. There's lots of variables, which way the port's firing, the speaker's firing on the enclosure, lots of variables, but that's my guess. Awesome, man. Thank you for your comment so much. Scott Wright, never meter before, hoping to at Slamology. Well, that's a heck of a place to meter for the first time, but the best place too. But 08 Mercedes-Benz E350, 2 Sundown XV312s, Tariamp Smart Base 5K, XS Power D3400, the battery, and XS 3000, so the big one, the smaller one. I'm guessing the 3400 is under your hood, 3000 is in the trunk, 300 amp alternator from Autotech. Honestly, what I'm going to look at is the Tariamp 5K. You're going to have it ran at 1 ohm. You ain't going to go lower than that, so you're going to rise to like maybe 2 or 3 ohms. See about 3K out of that clamp, 2.5, but that's all you need for those 212s. And they're the XV3s, and that's what Scott has in his Expedition. No, it's the bigger one. You know what Scott has. Anyway, big system. And so my guess, that's a trunk car, clamping 2-3K. Don't know which way you have them fired, but it don't matter. I'm going to say a 48.5. You could be close to that 50. If you get that 50, man, that would be freaking awesome, man. You got all the power you could to be able to get a 50 out of that car with those subs. All comes down to the enclosure, man. Thank you so much for your comment there. This is the last one, so we're just going to fly through it here. Alberto Pierres, I have a Rockford Fosgate R1200 amplifier, bumping an L715 subwoofer in a Q-bomb enclosure. Haven't checked, but I guess it'd be about 3 cubic feet. Okay, so that's on the small end. I hope it's sealed, probably sealed, but on a 1200 amplifier, it's going to bang, and they can run that small. An F-150 back seats removed, so it's in a small cabin, but it probably works pretty good. Honestly, I bet you it plays pretty low, even in that small cabin with that small box. With that power, it'll get it. Double DIN, 4 volt, no extra battery, but you really don't need it too much for the amount of power that you have playing. Sub volume all the way up. Of course, we always keep that up all the way. 50 hertz side from there, going epicenter, bass restoration machine sound stream, 0 gauge welding wire. Can't wait to hear what you think. And have a 4-channel amp pushing my mids and highs. Man, it sounds like you got some things in the line that you need, and it probably sounds really good. Being an F-150, that you don't have a huge area to put a box of 15 and a subwoofer that's going to sound good in a 3 cubic foot box that's a 15. There's not that many. I don't know if it's ported or sealed, but either way, it should do it with just being a kicker itself. An L7, man. I have L712s and 0.88 cubes. I know that would probably, you could put a 15, it says 3. I mean, you could go a little bit smaller, but you're going to get a little peakier. But being in that truck, man, I'm going to give a wild guess, and I'm going to say you're doing a 136 to 138 dB all day, and it's going to have nice wide bandwidth. Probably peak at like 44 hertz, give or take, man. Heck of a system. I like it, man. And thank you so much for your comment. Eric Slayer, 05 extended cab Silverado. Okay, so we got a little bit of room to work with. 2 American-based TNTs. I've heard of those. 15s on a Sound Digital Evo 4K. Okay, so full bridge guy. Burp the 150. Play music in a 47-48 range. That's not bad at all, man. I mean, trucks, all you gotta do is give them some power, man. 2 15s, you're getting that 50. That's not bad at all, dude. I don't know about the TNT on the RMS and everything, but it sounds like you got enough power for what they are. You could give more to get a little bit, but I feel like where you're at is a good number, and that's a respectable score, man. Okay, Josh Holden. This was the one here. 250 amp alternator. He wants me to guess. 250 amp alternator, 2-watt canoe concept, OFC Big 4, 2XS 3400 AGM dual runs of kicker 1-aught, OFC power and ground, Tear amp Smart 5K, and 2 Scar Evil 12s. Okay, so you got a Smart 5K on 2 Evil 12s. I already know what 2 Evil 12s sound like on a KXA 2400, so I can just imagine a little bit more power. And John has a high output alternator too. Same situation. But I haven't metered his system, so I don't know. But it was loud. 1 wire to 1 4 cubic foot box tuned to 35. Okay, so you have a little bit less port area to get that. That's gonna be it's gonna want that power. 2 cubes each. You got enough port to keep that nice low tuning still, which is perfect. That 35 hertz peaks at 40. Bet you your vehicle likes that 40 too. Alpine Type R 6.5 in the doors, rear seat 3-way, 6x9s from JVC, and boxes, all kinds of stuff. Tear amp 800.4 for the mids and highs. Guess my SPL, I will tell you how close you are. Car is an 07 Scion TC. Man, you're just giving me it now. My buddy JR, we built that 154, 155 dB setup with his and clamping 6K 215. So, you got 5,000 watts on tap, 2 12s, wired at 1 ohm. You're clamping 25 to maybe 3,500. But that sounds like it's not the most efficient box just because it's smaller. And the port area to get that 34 hertz has to be a little bit smaller unless that port's very, very long. But then you have to talk into like net airspace, gross airspace. There's a lot of variables. My guess, you're not a 50. You're close. 147.8. 147.8. Especially because you're peaking at 40. That's not quite the vehicle's resonant frequency, but it's a very good frequency you could gain just by making the port bigger. But then, is it going to sound as good? No. You got a nice box. You're putting a lot of power to it. but those evils are going to want that power, knowing the box that John has. And he has two 12s in the evil prefab scar box. On the Kicker 2400.1 that actually does 35, but he's probably clamping 2K. You're clamping a little bit more power, and you're in a smaller vehicle than him, so definitely high 40s. Not a 50 yet. Maybe in the kick, but I doubt it. 49 flat in the kick. But thank you so much, man. Let me know how I did. And let me get to the comments here, man. I feel like I'm alone. I haven't been talking to you guys. I feel terrible. All right, let's see. 13 will be live Sunday. Awesome. Before RGA's podcast, I'm guessing. Let's see here. I feel like I'm missing comments, but I'm not. Awesome. I know Cornut couldn't be here tonight. I know Bob is here. We got a lot of people, man. I feel like I skipped over so many comments. I'm not used to it, but it's okay. Jesse James, I'm trying to bring my Hummer H2 out. Where to? Team SP Loud, Slamology, to a show. All right. Okay, I actually caught up to where I was at. Baba says, "Living loud with Andy. Let me. When you queen out the outro, I am tasked with repping our boy Cornut." Elbow cough. Absolutely, man. I know Cornut couldn't make it tonight, and Baba's going to be the caboose tonight. Thank you, man. Let's see. Lots of comments. Jason says, "I'm ready to see the amp dyno of the JP83 after watching the 33 and 43. I need to watch the JP series amps on Big D's channel. I've been slacking really bad." Philip Slusher, from experience, what would you say I'm clamping? What's the setup? Did I read it earlier, or did you post it earlier? And if you did, let me know either way. Stu, Andy, off topic, but what would you recommend for a UV protected on subs in a boat application? Yikes. I don't know, man, because I know sun fades everything. That's why I originally made that blue, because I didn't park it in a pavilion anymore with like a carport, and sun got to it, man. Turned pink, literally turned pink. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I tried making one the shape of it, but I was like, you know what? It was already Cookie Monster already, and I'm like, might as well make it blue. And 3D printed out a sticker, literally just from my Final Cutter, and stuck it on there, and works. So to protect that, I don't know, man. If you know something, let me know. Thank you for tuning in, bud. Let's see. Awesome. V13, Andy, L7X, any word on release? Still planning the SYS on the Sequoia. I can't release anything, but I heard something. That's why I'm saying you should probably know on the next Unmasked show of an update. I can't say anything. Let's see. Okay, posted earlier. 415s, the American Base XFLs on 2-Scar SKVs 2s. Those are the nicer amps. 2500, 80 amp Young Long Chevy Cruise. Well, don't know your box. But you got 415s on 2 Scars. So you have 2 subs on each amp. Or you have 4 coils on 2 amps and another 4 coil on 2 amps, depending which way you do it. Don't know what you're wired at. I'm sure you're going to be wired at 1 on each amp. But you could wire it half ohm on those. Depends. But I need to know maybe a little bit more on your enclosure. Just the size of it to tell you how much you're clamping. But since you got 2 amps, unless you're wired to the dirt, man, you're going to see half of each amp, what it's rated. Look at the 3 ohm rating. Listen to me. Anywhere from between the 2 ohm rating and the 4 ohm rating. Think of the 2 ohm rating on each amp. Add them together. That's the most power you're going to see. Period. You never see what your nominal impedance is. It just doesn't happen. So look at that. That could be kind of what you're clamping, but probably not where your enclosure is the loudest. 9 chance out of 10, unless your box stinks. Then look at your 4 ohm rating of each amplifier. If your voltage is there, you're probably getting that. And you might be getting a little bit more because you'll do more past certified. That's why I like doing my amp dynos just till 10% THD. I'm clipping, but that's power. That's going to show up on the SPL lab or the term lab when you're metering. That power is going to show up. Doesn't matter if it's that dirty or not, but that's why I try to keep it under 10% so it's not a complete square wave. And it's still kind of, in a sense, making you louder, which it is, for the most part. All right. Wired at 1 ohm. Okay, got that. So that was a good guess. Box size or wall, whatever, and you got the 415, so 2. Okay. Keep it up. Steve Barber, what is up? Thanks, buddy, for tuning in, man. Should be able to catch you at Slamology this year. I got to buy my ticket. I am slacking. I got to figure out where I'm sleeping, too. I ain't sleeping in my car. I ain't going to fit. And I want Kayla to come, too, but I'm probably going to get someone to watch the kids if I do that. There's no way I'm bringing them. They're still too young for that. And my attention needs to be on other things. I don't want to be split apart. I don't want her doing that either. I want her to have a good time. If she's coming. Is there really going to be a 14.4 volt stream? I mean, I would make a poll on my post, but I don't want to make anybody upset. I feel like they need to, even if it's an audio podcast. Calling you out. Let's do it. Come on, man. All right, let's see. Let's see if Philip responds to me in time here. Bubba says, Andy, I think Scott said they're doing an Airbnb. Yeah, that's all up to them. But honestly, I like my privacy, even though I'm talking to hundreds of people, who knows what, and doing this. I do like my personal alone time, and especially with my fiance, significant other, and whatever. I like my downtime, and I'm quite boring sometimes because half the time I'm going to be on my phone, be like looking at all these pictures from Slamology, responding to all these comments. I'm not going to be able to talk to anybody. But at Slamology, absolutely, man. So, yeah. I like going where no one else is at either. I don't want to be bothered. When I'm at the show, it's all game. When I'm at my hotel, I'm chilling. I'm relaxing. And another reason, too, a lot of people are going to know my car. If I'm out in the middle of nowhere at some random hotel, less chance of it getting broken into, man. Let me tell you. Come to SEMA in the showdown. I would, man. That's on the... I'm all the way out. You got to remember, I'm out in Pittsburgh. Everyone forgets. Everyone thinks I live out in Oklahoma or something. I live in Pittsburgh. I'm sure if finances, work in that favor in a couple of years from now, and time is there, which it should be, I don't see why not, man. But right now, as of now, no. Unfortunately. Sorry, man. I wish I could. Can't do everything. It sucks. It sucks. Brucey, when you see the 10% THD on the scope, you'll be surprised how ugly it is. Oh, I know. It's got a nice little... But it doesn't sound too... That's why I go up to 10%. Most amps, I know I talked to you about this, most amps don't even go up to 10%. They don't. Even the kicker amps do not go up to 10% THD. They just stop. Okay? All the gain, all the bass boost, it just stops. Cheaper amps seem to keep going. Head units seem to just keep going. They'll go up to 25% THD. Just to get that 4-volt pre-out the back, but yet your speakers have been clipping 20 minutes ago. And that's another rabbit hole. But, yeah, man. 14.9 cubes for the 215s. Tuned to 32. I'm going to ask for one more thing, but I could probably do it. Port area, but let me figure it out. If you're tuned to 32 and you got 15 cubes, probably got 140 square inches, 150 square inches of port area. Easy. To get that 32, maybe less, maybe about that. So 15 cubes on 4 15s. So what's the math on that? 3 cubes, 3.3, 3.5, 3.5. Yeah, 3.5 cubes per 15. So it's not a ton of space. That's just about right. And you had them on 2 SKV SCAR 2500s, wired at 1. And they're split, so we'll say 7.5 cubes, just so I can do this easier. 7.5 cubes, 7 cubes, tuned to 32. Man, on 215s. It's not that big. That's like a box I built for the L7Rs. I did 7.5 to 7.8 cubes, tuned to 38 though, and the thing was doing like 42s, 43s on like 600 watts. And you're clamping twice that. So I'm gonna say box rise. That's what we're figuring out, not SPL. Man, you're probably doing 1600, 1800 watts just because the box is small, the port's not enormously big. It's gonna be kind of efficient because the enclosure is not big. It's not going to be overly efficient at a certain frequency. It's a well-rounded enclosure. I would say rise is probably times 2.8 times 3. It could be more, but it depends on the woofer too. There's a lot of variables coming in the box rise. Don't say box rise too loud on the internet, man. They will jump on you, I'm telling you. Get a demo from the Explorer. Gonna debut it there with a Q15. You got to get a demo Cookie Monster, man. I know we got to trade. Are you gonna be parking by the kicker, or are you gonna be at the sharting on them section? You'll probably be at the sharting on them section, but you shouldn't be too far away. I gotta go talk to people this year. Base Rehab 93. Yo, what's up, Andy? Not much, just chilling, doing the live stream stuff, man. We are up to an hour and 15 minutes already, but we're still got over 40 people here, man. I'm gonna keep it going. Blake says, I'm hoping I'll be able to go to Slam with digital design, man. That would be awesome, dude. I want to meet you too. Man, this happens every time. As soon as you guys talk about it, they're already working on a live stream, and then V13 comes in and just overschedules their live stream. It happens every time. Come on, man. You guys got to have a backup live schedule, you know? Flights to Vegas are cheap. I know. I'm flying down to Stillwater and I'm scared. I've been on an airplane once, but you know, it just all it takes is that one time. It's like, oh, well, we're gonna die today, aren't we? Yeah, yep. The plane's going down. Now what? You know, and I never, you know, that's my fear because I know probability, and it's scary. I know there's a very slim chance. It usually doesn't happen. You have a higher chance of, you know, cow falling on you or piano falling on your head, but still gives me the bejeebies, man. And then okay, flights are cheap. It's the rental cars, okay? They're like $100 a day, if not more, and then it's just that's a hassle in itself. Kids, man, I don't know how many kids you got, but mine are little. It's a little bit harder. In time, man, absolutely, I want to. 90-minute drive for you, man. You're out west then, man. That's crazy. Reading my last comment from RGA, I regret that wording. Uh-oh. What'd you do? I missed it. Missed it. It's alright. Okay. What's up, RGA? Vegas is where they get you. I can't. Hey, you could do it. I go live when Kicker goes live too. You don't see me rescheduling. Every fellas. Okay, awesome. Wow. No, I was gonna say I thought you were you were middle of Pennsylvania by Lancaster out that way. I knew that. Sorry, brain fart. All right. If you guys, because I actually kind of caught up to the comments. I know I probably missed a few. If you guys got any last few questions, drop them down below before we end this, man. Thank God Andy didn't read it while I read that one. I missed it, man. Now I'm going to be going back and looking for it. Kicker undies, man. If they had them. And I might as well show you. I got this stuff here. I got the Tabor 2. Check Facebook comments too. Oh no, do I want to? I got the Tabor 2s because my Cush NCs I use for the streaming, I use for work, and I hate bringing them upstairs, downstairs, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. I wanted to get something just for work or just for streaming. I want to unbox these. I just haven't had time yet today. And I don't know if they have a 3.5 jack. If they do, I could use them for streaming. But honestly, I just want to be able to test them more for music first. So they'll probably just go to work with me. These are on sale right now for $69. They're usually $100. And then I'll just start moving this stuff. I know you guys are going to want to see this. The L7S8. This way. This thing is a beast. Like I was saying, I was like, man, I don't have an 8-inch driver that has some depth to it. I have that Comp RT8. Not the same. This thing has 15 millimeters of excursion. That's half an inch, which is a lot for an 8-inch sub. Now, equivalent, that's the same amount of flex that the Kicker Comp, more than the Kicker Comp entry level has. So it's got some throw to it, and 450 RMS. I'm not sure in the coil size exactly, but it's got the same old, you know, connectors as the L7S, the bigger size, and the basket structure is similarly the same. It's got the pull venting, which is nice. That thing is just massive, cool looking. I got a bunch of Kicker koozies, these unmasked shirts. Man, I kind of went wild. I got a new pair. I don't know if you can see here. It's just the I don't want to move it too much. Is the KSC 6930s. The new 6x9s. They're like the 20, probably 48 version or 49, either 21 or probably 22. I forget which. But they're the newer KS series. Like I said on the last live stream, I wanted to match them up and with the fronts. The 3.5s that I have. So they'll match, and just wanted to upgrade my stuff anyway, just replace stuff. It's been 3 years plus. Might as well. And I got some time on my hands, and I'm going to buy some Kicker stuff. Why not? There's a lot more stuff downstairs. I got a new banner, the 3x6 banner. I'm probably going to use it for the YouTube videos and use the old one for the car shows because it gets dirty. You take it to a car show, people step on it or, you know, roll it up funky, and it's like, I got to have this on camera. It's got to look good. So I got a new one of those. If you got me on Facebook or Kicker Club, you've seen the picture with Oakley sitting in the camp chair. I got the Kicker camp chair. It's just like the, you know, extendable, foldable chair. And I wanted to get that. That was really cool. I think that was like $45. I got like 10 Kicker pens. Those are only $1 each. Pretty cheap. And a bunch of t-shirts. I'm trying to think what else I got. Oh, yeah, the Comp Cs. Brought that up already. There was something else. I forget. I don't know, but I spent a lot of money, but not that much for me. But it was a lot of money. Either way, cool stuff and more content that I can bring you guys, and just, you know, you'll see it slowly. I'm going to do a comparison probably after I build enclosures for both. This, there we go. Gotta put that, there we go. I had to put it back. I just want to see it. I'm going to build an enclosure for this 8 L7S and the 10 Bazooka Triangle and put them up against each other. Not so much for SPL, but see how they react and quote my desired enclosure and how they react. They're both going to be an imported enclosure. This one has a EBP of like 65, so it is like heavy ported. You could put it in sealed half cube to a cube, but it likes ported. Just leans that way. It has a high FS, 47. That's kind of high. But it's an 8-inch driver. Not like it's not going to play below 40 hertz. Trust me, we're going to see how low it plays. We'll do a little flex video later too. But as always, man, we're going to see how good it does. And the Bazooka has a little bit less RMS. I think it's 200 RMS. So maybe watt for watt, maybe the Bazooka will win. Because you think about it, the 10-inch triangle is only 50 square inches, but it has less power handling. And 50 square inches compared to this, which is an 8, it's a 64. But it needs more power. So is it watt for watt better? We're going to find out. I feel like that's a cool comparison. Plus, it's different. We'll see how it does. All right. Andy, get 3 triangle subs. I know that's what you need to utilize all the space, it seems like, or 4. I knew as soon as I bought the Q15, the L7X was going to drop. I almost bought a Comp Q15 just because I was between this. I know, big difference. Between this, the Comp Q15, the L7S15, and the CVX15. I really wanted to get a CVX15 because I never had one. I've always heard good things about them, and I know it's the same thing as an L7S, but just in a round configuration, a little bit different variables here and there. But I really wanted it. And I was going to get both. I was going to get the 15, L7S, and the 8. And I told my dad, I was like, well, what do you think I should do? Get one, option A, option B, or both? And he was like, what are you going to do with the big 15? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea, but I just want it. He was like, just get the 8. I'm like, all right. Taking your advice, Dad. Thank you. Love you. So I just got the 8. But I really wanted a 15. It's like, man, I'm going to buy more kicker stuff. It's bad. It's really bad. But the kicker, this Comp C loaded enclosure is the first brand new kicker loaded enclosure I've ever purchased from them. So this is awesome. Like, I have to do the whole break-in period. Let me tell you how that's going. Full tilt boogie, baby, right out the box. Yeah, you can play with it within reason. You don't want to clip the poop out of it. You don't know what the system does to begin with. It's a perfect way to break in a sub. See what it can do. With, reason, man. Don't just blare it. See how the box works with different frequencies. Maybe you have to change your, not your subsonic, because that's built in on that amp, but your high pass, your low pass, crossovers, and see how that needs to be for the vehicle and the music you're playing, especially with a stock head unit that has next to no crossovers. So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It's just that brand new smell. Like, obviously I bought a lot of other stuff, amps, speakers, and but that was cool. That was cool. And the L7S's, those were given to me, the 12s. So I never really bought brand new stuff like that, and it was just awesome. Just awesome. All my stuff's been hand-me-down, used, whatever. L7S, my L75 or L515, used, obviously, 2006, man. But anyway, I don't want to bore you guys with everything I bought. Oh man, let's end this show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and just hanging out with me and going over all the SPL builds and figuring out how loud you guys are, and just, I like doing that and being able to interact with you guys. It was a lot tonight, but I feel like I kind of got all the bases covered, and we had a good time. So as long as you guys enjoy that, smash that thumbs out on your way out. Let me know that you guys like this kind of content, and we'll keep it going, man. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. I'm telling you guys, I see that stuff. As always, stay living loud, everyone. I will see you guys Tuesday. And yeah, that's about it. Stay living loud. See you next time. Bubba, thank you for the super chat, for being there, for Cornut. Thank you, everyone, for hanging in till the end. Love you guys. And I'll see you guys Tuesday. Have a good weekend. And like RGA said, happy Mother's Day. I'll see you guys next time. Stay living loud.